Let me tell you a secret. Come here. Did you know that if you want to start changing your life, the first step should not be for you to sit down to write your goals? That's right. It's weird hearing that from someone that's a coach, but that's exactly what you should not be doing when you're first starting to think about changing something in your life. Let me tell you what the first steps should be so that you can start making those changes sooner than you think and get to the point where you do write down your list of goals and, more importantly, start taking action. Let's get into it. Pretty much every coaching client that I've coached has come to me because they want to make a particular change in their life. And that's where change begins. It starts with having an awareness of the fact that there's something that we're not happy with, which we want to change, or there's something that we want to improve on or change direction completely. Great, that's a great place to start. But before we start rushing into making an action plan and putting down some goals and getting the person to start making some changes, we need to just backtrack a little bit and go a little bit deeper into why it is that we want to make those changes. The very first step to make a big change is to create space. You need to create mental and physical space in your life so that you can allow yourself to work out what it is that you actually want and to gain clarity and awareness on why it is that you want to make a big change. This is something that everyone overlooks. We think that, okay, we want to make a change and we try to squeeze it in with the already very busy lifestyle that we have, and it makes it very unsustainable. The first thing we need to do is to think that if we want to make this change, we need to clarify exactly what it is that's driving us to want to make the change so that we can get a big why, a big purpose, a big reason behind it, and then we can start taking really purposeful action and be consistent in our efforts enough to make that change. It cannot be something that we try to squeeze into the life that we have already built. Instead, what we have to do is to create a new space for this to happen. So how does that work in real life? Most of us are very busy and we have a busy schedule. So this is something that needs to be intentional. You need to look at your weekly schedule and genuinely put in your calendar what's going to be the 1 or 2 or 3 hours a week that you're going to give yourself for you to just think. You do not plan anything in those particular time slots other than the fact that you're going to be allowing yourself to think and to reflect and to journal around the possibility of you making a big life change. This may sound like something that's overkill, but trust me, you need to make that a commitment, because if not, your life, your current life that you're living, the one you want to change, is going to keep happening. It's got a lot of momentum built already. You've got all your habits, you've got your routines, you've got people demanding your time, and you're never going to have that bandwidth, that mental energy and that time for you to be able to properly think about what it is that you want to do. Because if you're going to change your life, you may as well be intentional about the change so that the change that you receive at the end and that you achieve is what you actually wanted. So the very first step, as silly as it may sound, is for you to look at your schedule and work out realistically for you what time can you give back to yourself to start working on your goals and to start working on your clarity and your self-awareness. I get a lot of resistance when I approach clients with this because every single person tells me that they're too busy to create this space. But if you're too busy to create this space, you're going to be too busy to create the life that you want. And so you need to realize that time is not just going to be given to you, you need to create it. And so if it means only starting with half an hour a week, then that's brilliant. But make it a non-negotiable. That half an hour is sacred. No one can interrupt you. You cannot make any excuses. You have to make sure that that half an hour that's for you, you utilize well, okay? Once you realize that you are able to give yourself that half an hour, because you will, trust me, you will, you need to do a time inventory of your week. If you feel that you're really going to struggle with this, and you will find that you can find half an hour in your week. I don't care who you are. Trust me, I work with the most busy professionals in the world. I'm a busy professional myself. I don't want you to use this as an excuse. And I say it with love because it's a very easy excuse to make. I have kids, I have commitments, I have a job, these are, lots of different reasons that people come up with. and that they're all very valid, but we can still give ourselves the gift of a little bit of time for ourselves. It's ultimately going to benefit you and everyone else. Number one, create time for yourself and increase it gradually. Once you're comfortable with half an hour, increase it to 1 hour. It doesn't have to be in one time slot. You can make it into 3 half-hour sessions in the week, Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays. Brilliant. Okay, so you've got some time for you to think. What do you do with this time? What I want you to do is literally to buy a notebook or a diary or something with blank pages and get a pen and start writing. Why do you want to make a change in your life? You will have some ideas, but you won't have the whole picture. So what you need to start doing is to write. And the reason we write is because it's a different way to process our thoughts. By getting them down on paper, it helps us to actually process what we're thinking and clarifying what it is that we're thinking. Being intentional about the change will help you to be able to come up with a plan that's more compelling and more purposeful. So, literally sit down with a pen and paper and write, okay, I don't feel happy in my career anymore. What's making me unhappy? Is it the environment? Is it the pay? Is it the hours? Is it the team? Is it the work itself? Whatever it is, write it all down. What do I wish I had instead? Write it down. If you look at someone and you feel envy, you feel jealousy, use that as a compass for things that you potentially want in your life. We view envy as something that's very negative, but actually sometimes it can just simply be something that's pointing us to what we wish we had in our lives. So if you look up to someone else and you think, oh, I wish I had that, don't beat yourself up for feeling jealous. Instead, use it to guide you as to thinking, okay, why do I want that? Why do I want that for myself? And start writing that down. Start writing down what it is that you want your life to look like in a year's time. And if a year seems too little, then you can write a 1 year, 2 year, 3 year sort of vision and allow yourself to dream and start thinking about the things that you want to achieve in those sort of timelines, okay? So lots of writing will bring you a lot of self-awareness, will bring clarity into the purpose as to why you want to make the change, and will clarify the things that you no longer want in your life. So by clarifying all of that, you'll then be able to take action that takes you to that goal in a much more clear way as well. So you've been spending some time doing this. You need to keep protecting this free time that you've created for yourself. And what you then need to do next is to create some goals. So you've established what areas of your life you want to potentially change. You've established a big reason behind that, and you've established a compelling vision for what you want to achieve in the future. What you now want to do is to reverse engineer that final big goal and start breaking it down. So reverse engineering basically means working out the steps, the backward steps that you need to take to get to the point where you align the goal in the future to where you are now. And that involves breaking down a big vision into smaller goals and then into very short-term goals, which can be anything from achieving things on a daily or weekly basis to monthly goals. You want to pick 1, maybe 2 areas to work on at a time and start making and creating goals around them. But please don't try and change absolutely everything in your life, because it's not going to happen. If you want to change everything, you need to still start with one thing. And then eventually, as you start changing that, you gain momentum, you can start working on the next thing. Ideally, you want to have someone to guide you through this. I say this because I have had a lot of coaching, and there's nothing quite like someone telling you what they see from the outside. It's someone reflecting a mirror for you, and it can be the most empowering and powerful experience. And so that is something that if you're in a position to do, you may want to consider. However, you don't have to have a coach for you to be able to make fantastic changes in your life. It's just that you're going to have to be more self-motivated, and you're going to have to continue keeping up that consistency and giving yourself accountability. So one great thing you could do is to get an accountability buddy that will also want to be making some similar changes to you. And you can check in with each other every week or every 2 weeks and check in on the goals that you have set for yourselves and encourage each other. Work through any blockers that either of you are having. Set new goals for the following time that you're going to be talking, and so on. There's so many different ways that you can get support. And if you want to take it to the next level, you can potentially join a mastermind or a group coaching program, which may be more affordable. And then if you do want that one-on-one support, then perhaps getting a coach could be a great plan for you as well. But the first thing to reiterate, just to get to the end of this video now, is that you need to create the space in your life to make the change. Create that space and make it the most important thing in your life and non-negotiable that you're going to be working on. And you will see that by allowing yourself that space, you will be able to get so much clarity on what it is that you want and why you want it, which will give you that motivation and that drive to get you to make the change. If you don't have that clarity, it's going to be very difficult to make the change, and it's going to be very easy to fall back onto your normal routine and your normal habits. Don't keep waiting for things to happen. Make it intentional, make the time, make the space, and you will find that you'll be able to make way more changes than you ever thought possible. Please let me know how it goes. I look forward to hearing from you, and I will see you in the next one. Take care. Bye.